I'm Kish, and in this presentation, I will explain how the Transformational Leadership Framework, also known as TLF, supports school improvement and connects to Texas Principal Standards 1 and 4. Standard 1 is instructional leadership, and Standard 4 is school culture. According to Destravine, Aquino, and Fenton, 2016, successful schools improve through predictable developmental stages rather than initiatives. This framework helps principals identify where their schools currently are and determine the next steps needed to create sustainable student achievement and positive school culture. One important takeaway from Chapter 1 is understanding what the transformational leadership framework is not. It is not a quick fix for school improvement. It is not random leadership decisions, not implementing advanced strategies before foundation exists, not a one size fits all leadership, and it is not focused on isolative initiatives. According to Destravine, Aquino, and Fenton, effective school improvement does not happen through random initiatives or quick fixes. The framework emphasizes that schools cannot skip foundational practices and jump directly into advanced instructional strategies. For example, the chapter discussed a school that focused heavily on differentiation training before teachers had strong lesson planning systems in place. As a result, the initiative was not as effective because the foundational instructional structures were missing. And my favorite thing is that this framework helps principals focus on strategic sequential improvement rather than trying to implement too many disconnected initiatives all at once. In stage one, the principal's primary focus is establishing the foundational systems that a school needs in order to function with clarity and consistency. From an instructional standpoint, principals put essential systems in place such as clear lessons and clear lesson plans expectations, consistent instructional practices and regular cycles of feedback and monitoring. On the culture side, principals work closely with staff to define a small set of clear school-wide behavioral expectations and consistent responses to student behavior. This collaboration ensures that students experience the same expectations and routines no matter which classroom they enter. Stage two, capacity building. In stage two, the principal's work shifts from simply putting systems in place to intentionally building staff capacity and expanding shared leadership. This is the point where teachers begin stepping into meaningful leadership roles. An instructional leadership team becomes a driving force for improvement. Professional learning communities become more collaborative and purposeful, and instructional practices begin to respond more effectively to the diverse needs of students. This stage represents a major shift in instructional leadership because the principal is no longer the sole person pushing improvement. Leadership becomes distributed across the campus, which strengthens collaboration, deepens ownership, and creates a collective commitment to student success. Stage three, sustainability. In stage three, the systems and routines established in earlier stages become fully embedded into the fabric of the school. At this point, leadership is genuinely distributed, with staff members confidently managing key initiatives. At this level, students also begin taking meaningful ownership of the school's culture. They help reinforce shared values, support peers in meeting expectations, and contribute to a positive learning environment. Stage three represents a highly developed school community where continuous improvement is part of the culture, not dependent on any single individual. The school thrives because everyone, staff, students, and families share responsibilities for sustaining success, and that leads to continuous improvement. Texas Principal Standard 1, Instructional Leadership. Texas Principal Standard 1 centers on instructional leadership. This standard expects principals to strengthen teaching and learning by supporting teacher growth, using data to guide decisions, monitoring curriculum and rigor, and building the overall instructional capacity of the campus. The TLF aligns closely with this standard across all three stages of development. In stage one, remember that is foundational instructional systems in place. And stage two is the deepening instructional leadership by developing teacher leaders. And then that stage three is allowing instructional excellence to continue even during leadership transition. A key idea from the chapter is that principals must ensure foundational instructional practices are firmly established before introducing more advanced initiatives. Texas Principal Standard 4, School Culture. Texas Principal Standard 4 focuses on school culture. This standard emphasizes a principal's responsibility to create a safe, supportive, and collaborative environment where students and staff can thrive. A strong culture is built on clear expectations, positive relationships, trust, and shared responsibilities. The transformational leadership framework aligns closely with this standard because culture is intentionally shaped throughout all three stages of the framework, which I mentioned in the prior slide. The framework makes it clear that strong school culture is not accidental. It develops through intentional leadership, consistent practices, and shared responsibility across the entire community. A healthy school culture supports academic achievement, strengthens relationships, and creates an environment where every student and adult feels valued and able to succeed. Bringing it all together. When connecting the TLF to instructional leadership and school culture, TLF provides the roadmap. Standards 1 and 4 guide the principal's role. Systems plus culture equals sustainable success. And leadership grows across the stages. As a result, students and staff share ownership. So the transformational leadership framework brings together everything a principal needs to lead meaningful long-term improvement across all three stages. The framework shows how strong systems and strong culture work hand in hand to support student success. This progression aligns directly with Texas Principal Standard 1, which focuses on instructional leadership, and Texas Principal Standard 4, which emphasizes school culture. The TLF provides the structure, and the standards define the expectations of how principals lead that work. Together, the TLF and the Texas Principal Standards reinforce a powerful message. Listen to this. Strong instruction and strong culture are not separate efforts. They develop together and they sustain one another. As a future principal, I will keep in mind how the TLF and instructional leadership and the culture of a school works hand in hand. The importance of the TLF providing that roadmap and always keeping in mind the systems and the culture and how making education sustainable for everyone involved. Thank you.